Well, for decades, pro-life pregnancy centers have faced attacks from abortion providers and their political allies, including federal, state, and local governments. Now, lawmakers on Capitol Hill hope to change that by introducing legislation designed to keep these centers and their employees safe. CBN's Charlene Aaron has the story.
In addition to protection, the Let Pregnancy Centers Serve Act of 2025 would prohibit government discrimination and retaliation against those care centers that refuse to point to abortion as an option. Pro-life lawmakers maintain the measure is needed now more than ever.
Notwithstanding any other law, the federal government and any individual or entity that receives federal financial assistance, including any state or local government, may not penalize or retaliate against an entity because the entity offers life-affirming support and resources to women facing unexpected pregnancy, or offers life-affirming alternatives to abortion, or refrains from abortion.
Several Republican House members joined Representative Chris Smith to unveil the legislation. Following the Supreme Court ending Roe v. Wade, attacks on crisis pregnancy centers increased. 2022 alone saw more than 100 such attacks nationwide, which included firebombings, vandalism, and deadly threats. Yet authorities did not make one single arrest. Now, certain states are weaponizing various laws to stop these centers from saving lives. Gabriella McIntyre, legal counsel for Alliance Defending Freedom, represents several of these pro-life clinics.
These pregnancy resource centers have been harassed not only by these blue state attorneys general and these legislatures who are attempting to pass these censorship laws and otherwise trying to prevent and interfere with these pregnancy resource centers' missions, but they've also been receiving it from the public.
In New Jersey, ADF is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to consider that Attorney General Matthew Platke's investigation into the faith-based First Choice Women's Resource Centers as unconstitutional. That's because he's demanding the group identify donors and produce up to 10 years of its internal confidential documents.
Coming from a very hostile attorney general who has said to consumers, he has issued a consumer alert stating that these pregnancy resource centers are bad for women, that they should go to Planned Parenthood instead. He's also made many public statements calling these pregnancy resource centers extremist.
In New York, Attorney General Letitia James is using her power to censor pregnancy centers over advising women about the option of using progesterone to reverse the effect of abortion pills.
Letitia James, if she has her way, would prevent women from even knowing that they have this choice.
And the state of Illinois has been sued over adding reproductive health decisions last year to its Human Rights Act. The law now can stop religious organizations from only hiring employees who share the ministry's pro-life beliefs. Such actions highlight how politicians and the abortion industry consider these pregnancy care centers as a true threat.
Because why would they spend their time attacking pregnancy centers if they weren't effective, if they weren't actually helping women and babies? And to me, that is a huge testament of the effectiveness of letting these pregnancy centers serve.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
A lot of movement on this front. Thank you, Charlene. Gordon?
It's definitely needed. It's a sad state of affairs when in the United States this kind of legislation is needed. During the Biden administration, we all heard the stories of the firebombing of crisis pregnancy centers and Jane's Revenge and all of that. But on top of that was the aggressive pursuit by attorney generals, state attorney generals, and we call it lawfare, and that's exactly what it was. And it was interesting how they framed their pursuit, that somehow or other the crisis pregnancy centers were engaged in false advertising. That was one of the main arguments out of Massachusetts, and so therefore they were entitled under consumer protection laws to go after the crisis pregnancy centers. And it just boggles your mind that they would ever try to do that. It was clearly made up, and their opposition was clearly based on their own ideology, personal ideology regarding abortion, and they were trying to shut the crisis pregnancy centers down. Well, if you want to look at false advertising, just take a look at the name Planned Parenthood. There's no parenthood involved. They're all about abortion. They're not trying to make you a parent. They're trying to abort your baby. That's what they're there for, and that's what they're doing. You don't see any kind of attack against them for false advertising, and they receive millions, tens of millions of dollars in federal aid. Crisis pregnancy centers are all locally supported. It all depends on private donations of people that want to preserve life, and more importantly, want to make sure that we have another generation. Can we please have a culture that celebrates motherhood, that comes alongside mothers, and regardless of their economic circumstances or life circumstances, say, we want to help you. We want to help you and your baby. We want to make sure you get the medical care you need during pregnancy, and then after birth, what kind of support do you need? If we have a culture like that, we're ensuring our future, because children are the future. And when you lose sight of that as a culture, what exactly are you trying to do? Are you trying to crash and burn the United States of America? We need to protect children, we need to protect mothers, and we need to celebrate pregnancy. And yes, you are giving us hope, and hope